Hi, busy? No, I just finished watching this really interesting documentary on TV about a guy named Clive Waring. He's the man from England with terrible amnesia. You mean he forgets things? Right, he lost his memory. He had encephalitis, the virus that destroyed a part of his brain and controls memory. It happened for over 20 years ago. Since then, he can remember everything from the back in about 7 seconds. Really? He can only remember things for 7 seconds? Does he know his name? Yeah, he knows his name and he knows who his wife, Deborah, is. I think he knows that he had kids from his first marriage, but he doesn't recognize them or know the names. He lives in the center for people with brain injuries. It was really amazing though. He has signs around his room reminding him where he is. And he can't really leave the center because he might get lost or hurt. He has to have someone to care for him all the time. That's so strange and it's so sad too. Does he know what happened to him? Kind of. He knows that he was sick, but to him, since the memory pretty much is erased every 7 seconds, every moment feels like first moment following his illness. So he wakes up in the morning, he's decided to be alive. He writes in the journal, 7:30, I'm awake for the first time. Then a few minutes later, he had forgotten his previous waking, and now he has a new feeling of being awake. So he crosses out the early sentences and writes, 7:38, hooray, I'm really awake now. And then he crossed that out and write 7:45, now is when I'm truly awake, and over and over. In this program, he saw the cameraman and producer and said, you're the first people that I've seen in 20 years. And then his wife came in and he was excited because he thought he haven't seen her for 20 years either. They heard in kisses as if it was a 20 years reunion. But really, she's been there just a few minutes before. Wow, that's crazy. I can't even imagine what that must be like for her. Well, he was only in the 20s when he got sick. They just been married for around a year. I would have thought that she'd leave him, but actually, they still very close. That's amazing that they're still together. I don't know if I would be able to do that. I think she spent a lot of time with him for the first 10 years or so. She organized charities and tried to get good treatment for him. Once she got him into the new center, she decided to have to move on. She moved to the US and got divorced from him. I think she dated other people, but she was never able to get Clive out of her head. I guess she's finally accepted how much she loves him and how she can't be with him and can't be away from him either. She moved back to England. A few years ago, they got married again. Now she visits him all the time. He always asks when she's coming and asks her to please get here at dawn. Get here at the speed of light. They are still so in love. That's so sweet. What about a kiss? How do they deal with their fathers? Well, his kids are adults now. They said that it's hard to visit him. He enjoyed the company when they visit, but he can't actually remember who they are. And, of course, he doesn't remember that they ever came. So, in a way, it doesn't matter much whether or not they do visit. Well, what does he do all day? Well, he doesn't read books because he has trouble remembering the sentence before. It's the same with television programs or movies. He can't follow the storyline. But he does like to watch sports since he can enjoy that without remembering the previous events. One of the really interesting thing, he was a brilliant musician before he got sick. Amazingly, after the encephalitis destroys his memory, he still had the musical skills. For some reason, he can still play the piano. He spent a lot of his day at piano. It's actually music that gives him a lot of comfort and satisfaction in his life. That's an amazing story. I hope I can see the program sometimes.